Welcome back to Learning Excel. Previously we saw that how to calculate these total, average, count, median, mode, and how to use formulas when there are a lot of numbers involved, and how to create a graph with many numbers involved. Let's go a step further and see how we can use Excel in our day-to-day life. Here is that example. This was the column we already had in our previous presentation, and these are the marks of the semi-final exams of these 14 students in a class, and we added the marks from the half-yearly exams that were 3 months ago and the first quarterly exam that was 6 months ago, and let's see how Excel can help us see comparative performance of students. You could see comparative performance of your employees, of your finances, or anything else you want to compare. And it's so easy to do it in Excel. First, I show you how to apply the formula to the whole row. To do that, you click on the cell where the formula is. When I clicked on this cell, the formula is here, which sums D3 to D16. So I put my cursor not here, not here. Out of these 4 corners of the cell, one corner is different, right? This one. So I put my cursor here and suddenly the cursor changes. From this, it becomes this. So I put the cursor here, press the left side of the mouse and drag the mouse to the other cell, and the formula is suddenly applied here also, and now this cell shows sum of C3 to C16. If I put the cursor here and drag it, the same formula is applied to this cell, which is sum of B3 to B16. We don't have to do one by one. We can simply put the cursor here and drag it, and it will apply to all the cells that are covered. Not even that. Suppose we want to have this formula applied to all the other columns, the formula from this column. So we highlight all the cells where we want the formula to be used, to be applied. Put the cursor here, press the left side of the mouse, drag it and leave it, and suddenly the formula is applied to all the cells. So easy. If you are doing by a calculator or something, it would have taken a long time. Here it is done instantly, and we can save the spreadsheet now. So you see, Excel can make your calculation work so much easier. Now let's go to the next step of creating a graph using all this data. First of all, highlight the data you want included in your graph. For that, you click on one cell in the corner of the data you want included, then press the left side of the mouse and drag till all the data you want included is highlighted. Then click on graph, and suddenly you have these options. We will go with the line graph because in the past we were going with the line graphs, and this will give you a comparison. We click next. So this is how it will appear. We click next, and we can enter data here quickly because we already know what we are doing. So I will quickly add marks, class 9 students, comparison. Okay, then to category X I write students, category Y I write marks, Then in the axes I won't change anything, in grid lines I won't change anything, in legend I will keep it here, that's okay. In data labels I will not choose anything because they can become very congested. For example, if I add this, that is how the chart will look. Even if I add values only, then it will be very confusing, so I will not add anything. And same thing with data table, if I add, it will be a bit confusing, so I won't add it, and I will finish the chart, and that is how it looks. Because there is too much above, we will have to expand the chart, make it bigger, and that is how it is. Now let's move this chart to a single separate sheet. So we right click, we click anywhere in the chart, the left click, then we right click in the chart, click on location, click as new sheet, right, and click OK. So now the data, the chart has come here, and it shows that during the 3 exams, okay, we can change the name of the series here. We click here, left click, and then we format the legend. We will name the series later. This shows that series 1, which was the first exam, had the result like this. Series 2, which was the half yearly exam, had the result like this, and series 3, which is the current exam, have result like this. But this is a bit confusing because this doesn't tell us much. If we want to look at Raj's number, we have to count here again and again for each of them. So what we can do is, and I specifically did this to show you how easy it is to change the type of the graph and how it changes everything. I left click anywhere in the plot area, then right click and change the chart type. Okay, when I change the chart type, I click column and I click OK. See, it completely changed. These are Raj's number from 3 different exams. First he got 5 in the first quarterly, he got 7 in half yearly, and 9 in the semi-final exam. So immediately we know he is doing better. Same way, these are Lou's results, Anne's results. Jack has been similar, so the teacher can immediately know who is getting better and who is not getting better. Like here you see that Tina had very good score in half yearly, and now her score has fallen. Same way you see that Chu's score has fallen and Joseph's score has gone up. So we can immediately see that who is performing better, who is getting worse, and if somebody performed exceptionally in one exam, for example this exam, we can start looking as to why that happened. Why did Tina get excellent marks in one exam only? Similarly, if somebody got very bad marks just in one exam like Chin, we have to see what happened. The family situation was not good, he was sick or something like that, and then fix that problem. Like here we can find out what happened to Tina. She was improving so much and suddenly her performance decreased, and so the teacher gets a tool, or the employer or the boss gets a tool where he can quickly summarily see how the performance is and instead of marks it could be the productivity of your employees, it could be timeliness, it could be hours worked, it can be anything, but it makes it so much simpler. Now, as I told you earlier, we can do a lot of management of this chart, like we can change the color and all that. I won't go into that because we have already done it. We can use this graph to counsel, for example, individually each, not sharing all the data with everybody, but this is Excel is a very useful tool to help understand what is going on in your company. Another thing one could do is, in this chart, suppose you are the principal and you want to see how a class is doing, so you can make a simple chart where there is only the mean of the 3 exams. Click it here, and if you make a column chart, it will look like this, but it's not very useful, it doesn't look very helpful, so you convert it into a line chart or graph, and immediately you see the class was performing slightly worse during December but has improved significantly by about 10%. So you can tell the teacher, you can counsel the teacher that he is doing something right and he should continue to do that. If it was going in opposite direction, you could have told him that the class is not doing good, to change what he is doing. So this was an example of how the graphs can be used in understanding a situation. Now suppose we don't want to use some of the columns. We don't want to use this column because sometimes there are hundreds of columns. This data can run into up to 250 columns. So we want to use only this and this column. How can we draw a chart for that? Let's see. So we highlight first this data and we click create a chart, and then we click next, and here we are given an option to add a series. So this series we will label marks first quarterly. So marks first quarterly, and then we will click add, and suddenly it added one more series for us. Put your mouse here, press the left side of the mouse and drag it left to highlight this, and then let me move this on a side, and then click here and press the left side of the mouse, drag it down to include the data you want included, and now it is included, and you label this series 2 as marks semifinals. And then you click next, and you can add the title, class 9 comparison first quarterly and semi-finals, and then you can add x-axis was students, y-axis was marks, and we know we don't want to change anything else. Let me correct the spelling. So we will quickly go bypass everything and create a chart, and again we have to magnify the chart to see it clearly, and we can even move this chart by clicking first click in the chart anywhere then click the right mouse and click location as new sheet, and this is your chart comparing two exams. Now as I said, we click in the plot area, the left side of the mouse, then we press the right side of the mouse to click format the area, and we can, these are the borders, we don't want to change them. This is the color, and maybe we can change it to this color, and then we go out, we go to format the chart area, and we can use maybe this color or any other color you want, maybe this color, and this is the color. You can choose whatever color you want. If you want this area to appear different, you can format the chart title, and the chart title has area and font, two things you can change. So suppose you change the area to red, and you click again on the right side of the mouse, click format chart title, click font, and you want to change the color of the font to yellow, and you want to change the font size to be 18, and let's see how it appears. So suddenly the appearance has improved. You can put the left side of the mouse and press the left side of the mouse and drag it to put it anywhere. Even you can go further, say you are in this area and you want it to appear even better, so right click it, format, go with 26 as the chart title, and suddenly this thing is appearing different. Again left click, change the language orientation that it makes sense. So put your cursor there before F, click enter, and suddenly it's looking much nicer. This time, because we entered the series title, we also have that the blue one is the first quarterly exam marks, and the dark brown one is the marks of semi-finals. These are the students, that is how they performed. So this was when you wanted to avoid some columns from a continuous row of columns. You wanted to avoid some columns to appear in the graph. That's how you do it. So it is so easy to use Excel and impress your boss or teacher or supervisor or audience when you are speaking in public. So learn Excel well, it will be very useful. There are many more things you can do in changing the appearance and presenting your data to the audience. Let's go back to data. So in this presentation we saw how to apply formula from one cell to the whole row. We saw how to create graph using multiple columns in a continuous data, and we saw how to create graphs using multiple columns, omitting some columns and including others.